Penguin Random House Canada presents Wild Life by Amanda Leduc. Read for you by Zach Annette, Rebecca Auerbach, Amanda Cordner, Allison Dion, Glenn Gould, Eli Ham, Justin Miller, Emily Nixon, Danny Paget, Elora Patnaik, Anand Rajaram, Gillian Reese-Brown, Tara Samuel, Caleb Stull, Sonia Vaillant, and Amanda Leduc.
In 2003, in a writing workshop at the University of Victoria, our class got embroiled in a discussion of what is and is not possible in fiction. You can do that in a story? Someone asked. You can do whatever you want, our instructor said. We all laughed, but I've never forgotten those words. I have carried them with me through all the years since, and held them close as my writing went for the strange and unpredictable, again and again and again. That instructor was John Gould. John, thank you for everything. This book is for you.
Human beings are gods hidden from themselves. Ben Okri.
1. The Pharaoh Disciples, 1908.
When it happens, Josiah is kneeling on the stone floor of the chapel, his forehead pressed to the great slab beneath him. He is cold and alone, and then the air around him is warm and smells of animal. And when he looks up, the creature nods to him like a king and calls him by name. Josiah. The creature breathes out. The voice is somehow rusty, like air in a tomb meeting the sun for the first time, like the air when God rolled back the stone for the Messiah. Josiah. Josiah trembles. He has been scrubbing the stones of the chapel for hours in the dark, marking his progress by the changing of the stones beneath his fingertips. This stone heavy with grime, and then the same stone, free and clear of dirt, released by his dogged labour in the service of God. He is so tired. Outside, the sky is lightening, the sun about to rise. The smell of animal gets stronger. He is without his spectacles, because Father Joseph believes they are unnecessary. God, he says, will let Josiah see everything he needs to see. If Josiah cannot see the dirt and the stones, he must allow God to be his eyes. He must believe. You rely on your spectacles, Father Joseph says, when you should rely on God. To be a disciple of the Lord means to know what is needed and when. Josiah squints up at the animal in front of him. The light has shifted and the creature is in shadow. A tiger, perhaps? But as far as Josiah can tell, the creature doesn't have stripes, and tigers have stripes. Josiah knows this because of the book in Father Joseph's study, the encyclopedia Father Joseph lugged across the wasteland when they came to Kazemsko. The encyclopedia is not forbidden to him, but Josiah is only allowed to read it on Saturdays, after prayer and his chores are all complete. He reads the encyclopedia too much and the Bible too little. This is what Papa told Father Joseph in the fall of last year, when the priest came calling about the expedition. Josiah can go, Papa said as they sat in the parlour after dinner. I would be proud to see my son read scripture to the unsaved in faraway lands. Josiah had not wanted to go, but a few short days later, Father Joseph came back for him in a covered wagon along with 3 other men, Brother Luca, Brother Benjamin, and a young man named Marcus. Marcus was touched by God. He'd spoken all his life, and then, 3 months earlier, his voice had disappeared. Now he was mute. When Josiah climbed into the wagon, Marcus smiled at him, then reached out and squeezed his shoulder. May God be with you always, Papa called after the wagon. May God show you beautiful things, Josiah. May He make a work of your new life. His father did not expect him to come home, Josiah realised. His father didn't want him to. May God make a work of my new life, Josiah repeated. As the wagon moved away, he watched his father recede until he was a fuzzy shape blurring into the landscape. He imagined that his father raised his hand to wave a last goodbye, and then turned and went into the house and forgot him. All that Papa had would go to Obadiah now, the obedient eldest son who spoke only to people and not to animals, just as God had intended. Except that God is speaking back to Josiah now, right here, God, who has never said his name before. When Josiah was 5 years old, he'd followed a goat down to the river. "Come," it had said, "let us go down to the water and play." His father had not believed this, no matter how many times Josiah tried to explain. "God does not speak to us through animals," his father had bellowed, the slap of his belt red hot against Josiah's buttocks and thighs. "But the goat did," he'd sobbed, his face sticky with tears and grief and snot. "It did speak to me, Papa. They all do." "Your mother is dead," his father had raged, trapped in the barn fire that only the goat had escaped. "She was looking for you, and you sit here and snivel about animals that speak. You make up stories. You hide the truth of your wrongdoing from God." Even at 5, he'd wondered about that. Hadn't the snake itself spoken to Eve? But he didn't say this. Instead, after the last blow fell and his father turned from him in disgust, he crept up to his bed and wept for his mother, alone. By the time his father drowned the goat that had spoken to Josiah, cloven-hoofed, Josiah's father said, and with eyes just like the devil, he had no tears left to give it. No tears either when his father kept beating him in the years that followed, or when the red-hot slap of the brothers' belts and the sting of their wooden paddles came at school. Animals do not speak, Josiah. God gave man dominion over animals. God did not give animals dominion over or communion with man. But who was he to deny the birds that sang to him, the squirrels that ate from his hands? So much of what the animals said to him was nonsense. Can you feel your heart deep down in the ground just like the trees? But it was inescapable. The babble of crickets at night, the shrill cries of squirrels that fought in the trees. Their voices were unrelenting, no matter how his father or the brothers raged. "If I say they do not speak, Papa, then I am lying. Do you want me to lie?" Each time Josiah stepped into the world outside, it was an onslaught. Teeming cries, unintelligible chirps, howls of desire, pleas for mercy as unseen animals fell to a predator in the forest. "Help, help, help, help!" School was worse. School and the town. The uncomfortable eyes of the people of Midween, turning away from Josiah when he and Papa went into a store, into church. The taunts of other boys on the schoolyard. Strange widower. Stranger boy. Only Obadiah seemed to move smoothly among the townsfolk whenever he came home from Glasgow to visit. Josiah felt the silence of Papa's shame choke him like a serpent. Years passed like this. He grew tall like Obadiah. He grew tall enough that the brothers could not beat him anymore. Strong enough to grab Papa's wrist the last time his father had raised a hand to strike him and turn it away. "No, Papa," he said. For this, lying in wait for his moment, like the serpent in the garden, his father sent Josiah into exile, to a land untouched by God. A land where the animals fled from him, where the days and nights were nothing but long stretches of silence. Until now. "Josiah," the creature says, "you should not be here." This creature is not speaking nonsense. It does not have stripes, but perhaps it is some new kind of tiger, some kind that no one else has ever seen. Father Joseph told me to clean the chapel.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?